Welcome to the opening round of the INDY NXT Thrustmaster qualifying series for the INDYCAR Butt Kicker Pro Series here from the Long Beach Street Circuit. I'm Jacob Collins with P1 Broadcasting, here to bring you live coverage of the top split here of the qualifying series. Strength of field in the range of 8,510 here tonight. The best of the best here on iRacing, here to duke it out on the streets in California. It's a 7-round championship here. This is the opening round here of the championship. Brand new car here for the current iRacing season as of 2025 Season 4 in the Dallara IL-15. The weapon of choice for Indy NXT. We'll go over that, the car, the track, and the drivers here as we enter qualifying here now. So we'll go and ride with, I believe this is Apex Racing's Peter Berryman, as he leaves the pit lane for his qualifying attempt here tonight. Exiting the pit lane, heading off into the very, very tight turn number 1. Heading towards that iconic fountain section. Riding those little ripple curbs, heading towards the second straightaway here. Left-hander back towards the back straightaway to a right-hander that'll lead onto Seaside Way down the backstretch here at Long Beach, very close to that inside wall for Berryman. He'll round the hairpin very wide here, try to maximize the exit speed and head down the front straightaway. Shoreline drive. Ready to give it all he's got for his first of 2 qualifying laps on the streets of Long Beach. Back towards the middle straightaway here. Back over those ripple curbs very aggressively. He'll head back towards this next left-hander, all the way to the outside wall, all the way to the inside wall, using every bit of track on offer here tonight. Back down Seaside Way, back straightaway here. Every corner here so very, very difficult to hit at the right angles without hitting a wall on either side. We'll see good usage of the curbs here once again from Berryman. As he'll head down Shoreline Drive for the end of his first qualifying lap. We'll see what that puts on the board for him. Cross the line. 1 minute 10.345 for Berryman, provisionally on the pole. We'll ride around here one more time with Berryman, see if he can improve on that time through the fountain section now. Quick right-hander right over the curb. Little bit of a bounce there. More curb usage. Every bit of track here counts on the tight streets, especially. The quick left towards the shorter straightaway here, back towards Seaside Way. Close as you dare to any wall here on the track. Down the back straightaway into the right-hander. He'll round that iconic final hairpin one more time. Send it down the front straightaway. We'll see if this is an improvement here for Berryman. Not quite, just a little bit slower. A 1 minute 10.403 for Berryman that time around. We'll watch and see if we can find more drivers still setting qualifying times. Hop on board with Fiercely Forward's Kevin Burrell, community favorite. We'll ride on board with him as he enters his first qualifying lap now. Down the front straightaway into turn number 1. He's going to head through the fountain section towards that next right-hander. Hop the curbs, every single one of them. Bit of a tricky spot there for Burrell off those ripple curbs. He'll make the left-hander here. We'll hop outboard here with Burrell. Watch his Fiercely Forward P1 Docks machine head around the track. Down the back straightaway, Seaside Way. Now some quick facts on the Dallara IL-15 here at Long Beach. This is a 450 horsepower 2-liter inline 4 with an additional 50 horsepower on tap through the push-to-pass system. Drivers will have 150 seconds of that push-to-pass system in play here tonight. Car weighing in at around 1,400 pounds. The car most recently received updates in 2021 and 2023. 2021 featured the driver halo alongside a new engine tuning by Advanced Engine Research to run a full Indy next season without an engine rebuild. 2023 saw Firestone come in as the tire supplier for the series. And Long Beach, the IL-15 has been featured here one time in the debut season for the car in 2015, which saw INDYCAR on Fox presenter Jack Harvey score the pole with a 1-minute 12.041. The fastest race lap recorded was a 1-minute 12.9, and Ed Jones would go on to win that race after starting from the 4th position. So we'll see qualifying times more or less settle here late in the qualifying session as we have just about 1 minute left to go here in qualifying. I believe Dan Amor currently sits on the pole over Soto Muto. Looking around the iconic sights and sounds of Long Beach. Truly one of the great things about iRacing is being able to take in all these very iconic venues in their fullest form. You can see the boats in the shipyard on the docks out there. Truly, all the detail is here. I believe this is from the top of the aquarium there as we now look down another one of the roadways here. Qualifying will come to a close now, and we will bring up our starting lineup. Dan Amor will roll off from the pole position with a 1-minute 10.120 alongside Soto Muto in second. Peter Berryman, the Apex Racing driver, will line up third. We rode on board with him alongside Alessandro Bico in the 4th spot. Luis Nunez will roll off 5th, with Ricardo Rico in 6th. Nicholas Mateo will roll off 7th alongside Cooper Webster in 8th. Thomas Simone will line up 9th alongside Jaden Munoz in the 10th spot. Josh Thompson will line up 11th alongside Manel Cubo Torres in 12th. Rafael Leon will line up 13th alongside Pablo Espez in 14th. Gail Valero will line up 15th alongside Martin Kadlik in 16th. Nathan A. Moore, the Williams Esports driver, will line up 17th alongside Emil Bernstoff in the 18th spot. Adam Blocker for Team Powerslide will roll off 19th alongside Matt J. Corona in the 20th spot. Matt Emery will roll off from the 21st spot alongside Nico Weiserbicki in the 22nd spot. Jordan Johnson will line up 23rd alongside JT Speeton in 24th. Carlos Diguez will line up in 25th alongside Fiercely Forward's Kevin Burrell in 26th. Brendan Roseborough will line up 27th, and Alexander Spetz will line up 28th without a time here tonight. Cars lining up on the middle straightaway here at Long Beach. Get our timing pylon on display. 28 whole laps here from Long Beach. Pace car will roll off now. Dan Amor will be in control of the field. From that pole position. See drivers opting to find ways to warm their tires here on the shortened pace lap here at Long Beach. Many of them deeper in the field. You can see them weaving back and forth, trying to get as much heat as they can into those Firestone tires. Heading under the Firestone Bridge towards that iconic hairpin corner here at Long Beach. And here we go. Here's the final step on the road to Indy, about to go green. Amor is off. We're under green.
Green flag, green flag.
Amor with a huge shot down the front stretch. We'll see how the rest of these cars funnel in behind. We're already 3 wide going into turn number 1. Drivers opting to narrow it down a little bit. We'll hop further back in the field. Looks like everybody's going to navigate through the fountain section relatively unscathed so far. Very much a struggle trying to get the cars single filed out through the opening portions of this track. We'll hop back to Luis Nunez, who's fending off Thomas Simone for the 9th spot now. Seems to be the biggest train of cars here, has festered up behind. I believe that's going to be Nicholas Mateo in the 6th spot. Working through that back straightaway, heading towards the hairpin once more. Had ourselves a relatively clean opening lap here so far. We'll see as drivers come across the line who we've still got going here. Amor already out to a 0.7 of a second lead over the field. We shall see who opts to start making some moves here. A good portion of the race strategy in this car is managing the push to pass and just staying within the draft of cars ahead of you. Something I very much learned this week racing alongside Matt Caruana, who we'll hop back to now in the 16th spot at Portland. Indy NXT Road Series on iRacing in the official series, featuring at Portland this week. I had a great time riding in the 5th spot, watching 2 separate battles ahead of me. One of them including Caruana here. But so much of the strategy here is going to boil down to managing push to pass, managing the tires, and making sure you've got enough fuel to finish here. We're not expecting pit stops here tonight. That's a unique thing to Indy NXT over its bigger INDYCAR counterpart, is that this series does not feature live pit stops typically. So what you'll see oftentimes is that tires will matter a lot more because they're not going to have an opportunity to come down the pit lane and change them at any point. As we see Caruana under attack from Jordan Johnson now, heading into turn number 1. It's going to be very, very important to manage your tires well, manage the car, They have in-car roll bars here, just like the bigger INDYCAR as well, front and rear. That's an option to give these drivers an opportunity to maybe stiffen or loosen the car up to their leisure. Likewise with an adjustable brake bias. We'll hop back towards the front here between Mateo and Cooper Webster. Mateo leads a small train of cars now from about 6th all the way back to, let's say, 10th or 11th. Fast times coming in for a number of drivers near the front of the field. 1 minute 10.989 for Sotomuto. Many drivers getting very close to the walls throughout this course. Now, it does look like we have a number of cars that are already out of this event, unfortunately. Most of them starting deeper in the field. That'll include Roseborough, Burrell, Diguez, Smeaton, Adam Blocker. We'll see as they come across the line here again if that's all of them, but there may be a couple more here, unfortunately, already behind the 8 ball in the opening round here. The series is 7 rounds, includes 1 drop race, so it's going to be very critical to have good results early on, particularly as we get to more wild card events that'll take place on some oval tracks that for many of these drivers will be likely new experiences, especially given the way that this car handles the ovals here on iRacing. The first of those will be next week at the Texas Motors Speedway, the 1.5-mile oval in Fort Worth, Texas. We'll hop up closer towards the field as Sotomuto has caught Dan Amor. He's going to make the pass down Seaside Way. Move Muto to the front. Amor is going to make the move down the front straightaway into turn number 1. Move Amor back to the point. Now this train has slid back together as we see Alessandro Bico and Peter Berryman start rolling into the picture. And before you know it, we might see Ricardo Rico move his way towards the front. Try to stay glued on the battle near the front of the field here as this continues to heat up. As more drivers start getting closer and closer together. Amor had a really big hole shot off the line, starting in that pole position. But Muto has reeled it back in to get pretty close here with Bico and Berryman in tow. We'll run through the field here as quick as we can. So we've got Dan Amor leading over Sotomuto. Alessandro Bico will be 3rd. Peter Berryman runs 4th. Ricardo Rico is 5th. Nicholas Mateo runs 6th. Cooper Webster runs 7th in his team Redline machine. Jaden Munoz runs 8th. With Luis Nunez running 9th. I believe that's another fiercely forward entry. You see the iconic P1 docks and the lion logo on there. Thomas Simone runs 11th over Josh Thompson. Gail Valero will run 12th over Rafael Leon in 13th. Pablo Espez 14th. Manuel Cubo-Torres in 15th. Matt Caruana runs 16th. Jordan Johnson, 17th. Nico Wierzbicki in 18th. Matt Emery in 19th. Alexander Spetz, after starting 28th, is found 20th so far. Nathan Moore in the William Esports car is 21st. We'll hop back to Martin Kadalek, who runs now 23rd after Adam Blocker has made a pass on him. This seems feisty near the back of the field. We've got Kevin Burrell looking to try to make a pass on Martin. He'll be under fire from JT Smeaton. See, as the field kind of sorts themselves out off the hairpin where they are now. So Martin runs 16th, Smeaton's 17th, Burrell is 18th, Roseborough's 19th, and another fiercely forward entry, I believe. Maybe incorrect on that one. Carlos Diguez is 20th. And we believe... What happened to Soto Muto? Did he have a moment? No. My timing screen is all over the place. All right, we're back to the front now. Thank you, Chris. Roseborough's Solpeck Precision Racing. I noticed the Solpeck logo on there, and I very quickly realized that that was a new team for him, I believe, at some point. Not quite sure when that happened, but it's good to see more teams out here on iRacing. So Dan Amor still leads over Soto Muto. They've broken away about a second away from Alessandro Bico now. Peter Berryman still runs in fourth with Ricardo Rico rounding out the top five. Now, as we've mentioned already here on the broadcast, this is the opening round here of the Thrustmaster Indy NXT qualifying series. This leads to an opportunity to the 21 highest placing drivers in the point standings to run in the INDYCAR Butt Kicker Pro Series this winter. 12 drivers retaining their spots from the last season. So drivers will be looking to maximize points throughout the 7 rounds, which will cover the rest of the schedule here right now. So next week will take us to the Texas Motor Speedway for our first of 3 oval rounds of this championship, followed by Portland International Raceway. The week following, the 4th event will be November 6th at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, with event number 5 taking place the following week at Worldwide Technology Raceway, also known as Gateway. The 6th event will be November 20th from Laguna Seca, and then there will be a week off for the Thanksgiving holiday. That falls on November 27th, with the final round taking place December 4th at the Iowa Speedway in Newton, Iowa. So a good mix of different tracks and styles of racing throughout the calendar for this qualifying series. Try to get a better idea of the gaps between the cars now. So Muto and Amor have broken away. Alessandro Bico has fallen multiple seconds back now. There must have been some sort of mistake or a fight, as Peter Berryman's right on the back of Bico now. We'll fall back to this battle between Bico, Berryman, and Ricardo Ruiz. We'll see if we can follow along with Ricardo maybe, get a view from his cockpit, see what he sees. Hopping those curbs. He'll ride in the 5th spot, working that left-hander towards this short straightaway, heading towards Seaside Way. Berryman and Bico just ahead. Down the front straightaway into turn number 1. Berryman still on the back of Bico, ahead of Ricardo here. Looking to just stay in the tow of both of these machines ahead of him. Right around here for this lap with Ricardo as he continues to try to hunt down Berryman and Bico ahead. If you're enjoying our coverage of this series so far, we are going to continue coverage on the P1 Broadcasting channel throughout the rest of the season for the second split. So feel free to go drop a subscribe, leave a like on our stream over on the P1 channel if you so choose. We'll be continuing to have coverage of this series in the second split throughout the rest of the season, alongside our slew of other Indy Next coverage, where we cover the next road series on Monday nights and the next oval series on Tuesday nights. Those will fall during the evening hours. Get the time right here very shortly. So we'll hop back to an outboard camera here. See if we can find ourselves another battle here. We'll hop back to Cooper Webster and his Team Redline machine. He's hunting down Nicholas Matteo with Thomas Simone hot in tow. Heading through towards that iconic hairpin corner once more. So the next road series, I present coverage for that each and every week at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. That'll move to 9 p.m. Eastern Time following the time shift. And then the oval series gets covered at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll move to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, I believe, following the daylight savings switch. That's Monday and Tuesday nights, respectively, on the P1 Broadcasting YouTube channel. If you have interest in watching more Indy Next action from iRacing, we cover the top splits of those events at those time slots. Me, myself, and I in the booth for that. And as I mentioned earlier, you too could take on competitors that are competing for spots in the Pro Series. That's part of the grand appeal that is iRacing, is that you could compete against some of the very best drivers in the virtual world, or even the real world for that matter. You know, Team Redline owned by F1 driver Max Verstappen in some capacity, so he's got a stake there. You can race against some of the very best from the real and the virtual world here on iRacing, so certainly grab yourself a subscription, get yourself a setup. You can get on out here and maybe qualify for the Pro Series here yourself come next year. We'll work our way through the field once more. We'll hop back to the front with Dan Amor leading over Sota Muto in second. This gap has remained around the 0.3 of a second mark the bulk of the way through here so far. Back a bit further, we've got Alessandro Bico leading a train over Peter Berryman and Ricardo Rico, who's now under fire from Jaden Munoz as he'll make the pass down the end of Seaside Way. That'll move Nicholas Matteo down to 7th over Cooper Webster in 8th. Thomas Simone runs 9th. Josh Thompson will be 10th. Pablo Espez will be 11th. Gail Valero runs 12th. Rafael Leon in 13th. Anel Kubo Torres in 14th. Matt J. Caruana in 15th. Alexander Spetz runs 16th. Matt Emery in 17th. Jordan Johnson in 18th. Nico Wisbicki 19th. Nathan Moore in 20th. Adam Blocker runs 21st in the Power Slide Motorsports entry. And Emil Bernstoff runs 22nd. We've got Kevin Burrell in the Fiercely Forward entry in 23rd. Brandon Roseborough for Solpeck Precision Racing in 24th. Martin Kettlesick runs 25th. JT Speeton runs 26th. We've got 2 more cars, I believe, still, well, at least 1 more circulating, I believe. We can find them. Perhaps not. Appears to be the bulk of the field. Back to Amor at the front. See if we can get on board with Amor. He's been the class of the field so far. He put it on the pole and he stayed there. So let's get a look at push to pass remaining here for these drivers, as we're a bit over the halfway mark now. Amor sits on 97, Muto's on 120, Berryman sits on 87. We've got Alessandro Bico on 128. Jaden Munoz sits on 64. Ricardo Rico sits on 140, which looks like the highest of the field so far. He's barely used that push to pass, but that may become critical later in this race as it becomes a much tighter gap as the tires start to wear. You can use that push to pass to maybe get a bit of a better exit off the corner, and especially have the extra horsepower down the relatively long front straightaway of Shoreline Drive off into that turn number 1, which is a really good passing opportunity if you can set up something early going into that corner. Still on board with Amor. We'll watch as he enters turn number 1. Big usage of the curbs there for Amor. 11 to go here in our opening round coverage. Hop back a bit further in the field. Back to Jaden Munoz, who has a little bit of a gap over Alessandro Bico now. He's looking to hunt further up the field, maybe challenge Peter Berryman for the 3rd spot. See Bico all over the back of Munoz. So Peter Berryman has started to walk away from Munoz ever so slightly now. Gap's about 1 second between those cars. The gap, however, between Dan Amor and Soto Muto at the front has only moved about a half a tenth in the last 10 laps or so. See if we can move a bit further in the field, find ourselves another battle. Move to Thomas Simone. Running in the 9th spot behind Cooper Webster. They're sitting behind Nicholas Matteo coming off the hairpin here. Solid train of cars here running from about 7th on back. About the 11th spot there with Pablo Espez. Kind of rounding this train out. Just getting back through, reading through the chat now. Yeah, Thrustmaster does sponsor both series now. That is my mistake. I'd forgotten that they were doing both, but shout out to Thrustmaster. They put together some quality stuff in their product range. I was a longtime user of their TSPC. So we're sitting at 7 laps to go here. We're going to take another look at the push-to-pass numbers, as I think that's going to come in a bit more critical here as we move through the closing portions of this race. Amor sits on 85, Muto on 102, Berryman's on 49, Munoz sits on 33, Bico 86, Ricardo Rico still has the highest at 102 now. He gets on the button now. See Mateo and Webster at 92 and 59 apiece. Simone sits on 67 with Thompson at 53 and so on. Some of these guys are looking like they might run out a couple laps early if they're on like a remotely regular push to pass schedule. We see Munoz back on the button. Only 2 seconds of usage there. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in and bearing with us here. We got called up about 3 or 4 hours before the broadcast went up that iRacing wanted to put us on the Big Kid channel, and I'll argue I'm the C team here at P1 Broadcasting. I'm all by myself. I've only been doing this for a couple weeks. I'm still trying to figure some things out. We'll get it sorted out over the course of the season here as we cover the rest of second split throughout this season, but I do want to thank everybody for tuning in and bearing with me here as I navigate the tumultuousness of this entire endeavor. So we're going to roll back to Soto Muto at the front. This gap's basically remains solid at 3.5 to 4/10 of a second this whole way so far. You got to wonder if Muto's just playing the patience game here, waiting for his time to strike. Take another quick look at the push to pass here. Muto only has another 5 seconds over Amor at the front. That may come in clutch, though. 5 seconds is a good bit, especially on the front straightaway here at Long Beach. I want to say from the end of the front straight, end to end, is 10 seconds on the button. So another 5 seconds, that might be the distance between the exit of the corner to the start-finish line, and that might be what it takes to pip another position or two coming to the line here. Muto remains locked to Amor, still about just under 4/10 back. He's starting to slowly creep in through the fountain section. And let's give a shout out to some of these guys that maybe started a bit deeper in the field. We've got Adam Blocker running in 13th in his Power Slide Motorsports entry. He started deep in this field here tonight. He's up to 13th. See if we can funnel on back a bit deeper in the field as we come to 3 to go now. I think we do need to stay with the battle for the lead. Muto gets loose off the hairpin. That's going to cost him some time. He's going to get back on the push to pass to try to stay with Amor. Muto now 4 or 5 tenths. It's remained roughly steady even with the wheel spin off the hairpin. The push to pass and the draft definitely keeping him in it here. And that's kind of inherent to the road to Indy cars on the whole here on iRacing. We've had the USF 2000 and the Indy Pro 2000, which is now the USF Pro 2000 in the real world. We've had those cars on iRacing for around 5 years now. Very similar handling characteristics to this car, albeit with lower horsepower and a bit less in terms of the overall mechanical complexity. Those cars don't have roll bars, adjustable roll bars, and likewise, but very similar styles of racing. So if you're looking to get into iRacing, you can join up, run those cars, make your way to Indy NXT, a C licensed series, both on the ovals and the road courses and standalone series. You could find yourself racing here, trying to make your name in the qualifying series to make it to pro, that final step at the top of the road to Indy ladder. We're going to get to 1 to go here shortly. Dan Amor is going to cross the line for 1 to go. We'll hop to the outboard of him as this final lap continues, and we'll try to catch battles as they commence, as this is going to be make or break. If you want 1 more spot, 2 more spots, now's the time to get them. Amor rounds that left-hander, heading towards Seaside Way, the back straightaway. No pit stops here tonight, unless somebody took damage. Meatball flag or the like would be the only necessity for a pit stop here. Amor is going to come off the final corner, take the win in the opening round here of the Indy NXT Thrustmaster qualifying series. Fastest lap on the last lap. Look at that. Hop back to Cooper Webster. Not quite enough to get past Nicholas Mateo. Alexander Spetz is trying to make a move on Matt Caruana for 15th. Not going to be quite enough coming off that final corner. As the rest of the field will start crossing the line now. Get more accurate timing and scoring here once the field starts crossing their way around. We'll see if you can find your favorite driver here in the field once we get everybody across the line. I believe most of the field will hop with Roseboro. Roseboro's crossed the line. I believe the bulk of the field's crossed the line. So we'll get to Amor and company slowly working their way towards the pit lane, but we'll get race results up here. So Dan Amor is going to be your winner here. 1.2 seconds over Sotamuto. You'll see him do burnouts in the background here in that iconic hairpin here at Long Beach. Peter Berryman will be third. Jaden Munoz fourth. Alessandro Bico in fifth. Ricardo Rico will be sixth. Nicholas Mateo in seventh. Cooper Webster in eighth. Thomas Simone will finish ninth in front of Pablo Espez, rounding out the top 10. Josh Thompson will be 11th over Gail Valero in 12th. Manel Cubo-Torres will be 13th over Rafael Leon in 14th. Matt Caruana will be 15th. Alexander Spetz will be 16th. Matt Emery will be 17th. Jordan Johnson will be 18th. Nico Wurzbicki will be 19th. JT Speeton will be 20th, I believe. Got Nathan A. Moore in 21st. Put that Adam Blocker in 22nd. I believe that should put Emil Bernstoff in 23rd, Roseboro 24th. We'll double check this very shortly. I think I'm gonna just verify this. So Wurzbicki is 19th. Adam Blocker will be 20th. Emil Bernstoff 21st. Roseboro 22nd. Kevin Burrell 23rd. Nathan A. Moore 24th. Carlos Diguez will be 25th. Martin Kajelik will be 26th. JT Smeaton will be 27th. And Luis Nunez will be 28th. Bulk of the top 20 should be right. I think it's just that bottom however many cars in the field we're not catching correctly. So with that being said, we'll see if we get anybody up here for podium interviews. We did put out a call for anybody who was in the race to try to hop on up here and talk through it with us. See if anybody opts to do that here. All right. Six races still left to go in the series. This is just the opening round of the 7-race championship here for the qualifying series. So the rest of the schedule will be playing out over the next 2 months, a little under 2 months. So we'll have 4 or 5 more straight races. And then there's a gap for the Thanksgiving holiday before the season finale at the Iowa Speedway for the 7th and final race. That will take place on December 4th at the same time that this one started on, I believe. Actually, that'll likely change due to the daylight savings shift in North America. So I don't believe we're going to get any podium interviews, but we will take the time to thank iRacing, Thrustmaster, everybody putting this series on. I know I'm a huge fan of the Road to Indy, every single car on it, USF 2000, Indy Pro 2000, Indy NXT, INDYCAR. if it's an American open wheel car, I want to drive the ever-living snot out of it. And I want to thank everybody who tuned into this broadcast. Again, very last-minute notice for us to be put on the iRacing official channel. Want to thank everybody for tuning in, giving us this opportunity. I'm Jacob Collins. You can find my YouTube channel, Jacob Collins 4, or at Jacob Collins 4, all one word. You can see what I'm doing on iRacing. You can tune into a P1 broadcasting for all our various coverage of mostly open wheel cars here on the sim, particularly the INDYCAR and its official series, and Indy NXT. And I can't believe I'm sitting here after all these years being able to talk Indy NXT here on iRacing. It's been a long time coming, and I just am so glad to be a part of this. I know it's rough around the edges, and it could always be a lot better, but I'm glad to be here. The passion's there. The technical stuff will come, and I just want to thank everybody who lets us do this, iRacing, and everybody who puts this whole deal on. I want to thank everybody. I can't thank everybody enough, for even the guys at P1 for even giving me the opportunity or the keys to the castle to even be here in the first place. I can't thank everybody enough. We'll run through the podium finishers here once more. Dane Amor, your winner. Soto Muto, Peter Berryman. The rest of the top 10 you can see on your screen now. From all of us here at P1 to all those that do the difficult jobs around the world, we want to thank you for what you do and giving us the opportunity to do the things that we do. And to all those watching at home around the world, thank you. Have a very good night. I'm so glad. I'm so glad Indy NXT is here. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you so much.